Okay, alcohols worksheet 2. Which compounds form ethanoic acid when it's oxidized? So, to get ethanoic acid, we need to have ethanol. Okay, so to get ethanoic acid and its oxidation, it has to be ethanol. Ethanol to ethanoic acid. So if it's ethanol, our answer would be C. Okay. Next, okay, so they say it has 6 carbon atoms and asking for the chemical formula. So we go step by step. So methanoic acid here has 1 carbon. Ethanoic has 2 carbon. Propanoic has 3 carbon, 2 plus 1, 3. Butanoic has 4, 3 plus 1, 4. So to have 5 carbon atoms, if you notice, for every number of carbon atom, it is more than this one by 1. So if it's 5 carbon atoms, this has to be a C4. And if we want 6 carbon atoms, it has to be a C5. So now we know it starts with C5. Okay, then what do? This is acid, right? The general formula of carboxylic acid is CnH2n plus 1 COOH. So let's say it's C5. What would it be? So C5H, 2 times 5 is 10, 10 plus 1 is 11, COOH. So you check and confirm if this has 6 carbon atoms. So 5 plus 1, it does have 6 carbon atoms. That's why it's hexa. Hexa means there is 6 carbon atoms. But if you look at this, there is no answer here that says C5H11COOH. No answer at all. So what then do? We see that there is an option C and D. Let's combine all our elements and see if you get an answer. So C, now I got C6. C6. H, I have 11 and 1, so H12. O, I have O2. So C6H12O2. So if you look at your answer, C6H12O2, answer is C. Okay, so answer in this case will be C6H12O2. Answer would be C. Right? Okay, next. So here it talks about wine tasting sour after exposing to air. So when you see the word wine, you need to think of ethanol, because ethanol is the one in all the alcoholic drinks. If it tastes sour, so what is formed? So when you go back to wine, you think of ethanol. When it exposed to air, it's being oxidized, so it goes through oxidation, and it forms ethanoic acid. So the question would be, what is the formula for ethanoic acid? So ethanoic acid is CH3COOH. Okay, again, you can go back to the formula, general formula CnH2n plus 1 COOH. And for ethanoic acid, N equals to 1. Okay, so you get this. Then you can check, so which is the one that looks like CH3C double bond OH? So you look at this, CH3C double bond OH. So A is the correct answer. Okay, next. Which reaction does not produce carbon dioxide? So complete combustion will give you carbon dioxide or water. Fermentation, which is your glucose, with the presence of yeast, becoming ethanol and carbon dioxide. So A, we have carbon dioxide. B, we have carbon dioxide. C, ethanol to ethanoic acid. C does not have any carbon dioxide instead, because what is produced is ethanol plus oxygen, and you get ethanoic acid plus water. There is no carbon dioxide. Okay, and finally, to confirm, this is an acid, this is a metal carbonate, so we do get carbon dioxide here. Okay, so your answer that does not produce is C. Okay, question 5. It talks about carbon dioxide. Gas produced, ethanol was formed. So here we know that we're talking about fermentation. Fermentation. Okay, where we start with glucose. So in the beginning, we have nothing but glucose. And the reason why glucose will become ethanol and carbon dioxide is because of the presence of yeast. Yeast has some enzymes that will convert glucose to this. So if you read A, B, and C, A, B, and C says that grape juice in the first place, which is your glucose, already contain the ethanol and carbon dioxide, or contain the ethanol, contain the carbon dioxide. This is all wrong. Our grape juice, which is our glucose, in the first place does not contain anything. It's because the yeast that converted that sugar in the grape juice, which is why you get your carbon dioxide and ethanol. So if you read carefully, the answer would be D. Next, question 6, they show you a structure, okay, and they ask you how to classify. So be very careful. This is not just COH, not just an alcohol, but it's C double bond OH. So this is the acid functional group, and the double bond is the alkene functional group. So based on that, our answer would be B, because there is the acid and the alkene functional group. Okay, next question. Again, taste of wine changes after contact with air, because what happened to the alcohol? So again, we're talking about ethanol over here. And our ethanol, because we contact with air, it becomes ethanoic acid. And it's called oxidation. Okay, so we know that what happens is ethanol reacts with the oxygen in the air to become ethanoic acid plus water. So if you look at all your options, D is the correct one because ethanol reacts with oxygen. Next, we have organic compound E reacts with potassium permanganate and it changes color. So we talk about potassium manganate. Potassium manganate was the oxidizing agent, okay, that is added to oxidize others. And what did it oxidize in this case? This oxidizing agent can oxidize ethanol. So very likely what happened was this compound E is ethanol, and when we add to the oxidizing agent, which is potassium permanganate, then we get our ethanoic acid. So they're asking you what is E, what is the thing that reacted? So the thing that reacted is ethanol. Okay, so our answer would be C. Okay, next question, they give you several organic products. Let's see if you can identify them first. So this has the OH group, so this must be an alcohol. And since the formula is given to us, you can also make a guess that it is ethanol. Okay. Next, C5H10. This follows the general formula CnH2n because 10 is double of 5. That means this must be an alkene. You do not need to know how to name this alkene, so we just write alkene. Okay, next, C3H7COOH. When you look at this COOH, this tells you it must be an acid. Okay, it must be an acid. Okay, for this particular acid, you do not need to know the name. That's which is why I cancel out the name. But this, if you want to know, this is butanoic acid. Okay, because it has, at the end of it, 3 plus 1, it does have 4 carbon, so it's butanoic acid. Okay, next one here, C8H18. This follows the formula CnH2n plus 2. Because of this, this is an alkane. You don't have to know the name as well, which is why it's written there as alkane. Okay, here, this C3H8 also follows this formula. And this is the third member, methane, ethane, propane. So you can write down the name propane. So currently what we have is, we have this different organic compounds. So let's see what fits the description. A compound that undergo addition. Okay, so for it to be able to undergo addition, to add on, the only organic compound that goes through addition is alkene. Alkanes go through substitution. So we write the formula C5H10. Okay. Next, pH less than 7 means it must be acidic. So if it's acidic, it has to be the acid. So that's why this is the answer. Okay, next, a compound is oxidized by air to produce ethanoic acid. So the compound must be ethanol. Only ethanol can become ethanoic acid. So this will be the answer. And lastly, compound that is not hydrocarbon. That means hydrocarbon means it contains hydrogen and carbon only. But now they are saying it's not. So you can go anyone because either of these has oxygen in it. Okay, for this question, they gave us some information and they asked you to solve. Okay, so first of all, let's try this one. Methanol, ethanol, propanol, butanol, right? This is in order. So this should be propanol. How do we find the relative molecular mass? So first of all, ethanol is C2H5OH. Okay, so use the periodic table to find the number on top. So there's 2 carbon. So it will be 2 times 12 plus 5. So this is OH, plus 5. And hydrogen is only 1, so I'll just leave it as plus 5. Oxygen is 16 and plus 1 for hydrogen again. And this would give you the answer 46. Okay, next one. How then do we do the boiling point? Okay, so if you find the difference of this, okay, this difference is 13 and this difference is 19 and this difference is about 6. Okay, so if you do that, a possible number that you can get, this would be, let's say 19 plus another 6 will give you about 25, and then this will then give you 1, 2, 2. Okay, so this is a possible range as well. Alternatively, it can be anything lower, and the accurate boiling point for butanol is 118. Okay, now write the equation for the complete combustion of propanol. So we have propanol. Okay, so first of all, what you need to know is propanol for complete combustion, it will react with oxygen to give you carbon dioxide and water. Okay, propanol is CnH2n plus 1 OH, and N equals to 3. So my propanol would be C3H7OH plus my oxygen is O2, carbon dioxide is CO2 plus H2O. Once you get this, you need to do your step-by-step balancing. And when you do your step-by-step balancing, what number you would get would be a big number of 2, 9, 6, and 8. Okay. So 2C3H7OH plus 9O2 to give you 6CO2 plus 8H2O. Okay, there's still a back page to this. Okay, so we talk about acids now, and we say that this acid has 3 carbon atoms. Okay, so remember, be very careful. 3 carbon atom does not mean N equals to 3. Okay, because here there is carbon appearing at this side as well. If you say N equals to 3, the total will be 4 carbon atoms already. So for it to have 3 carbon atoms, if there's already 1 here, 3 minus 1 will be left with 2. So N must be equals to 2. So if you go back and revise your work, If it's n equals to 0, will be this, n equals to 1, and n equals to 2. So n equals to 2 is this one, and we call it methanoic, ethanoic, propanoic acid. Okay, so when they ask you to write the molecular formula, n equals to 2, so you could follow C2H, 2 times 2 is 4, 4 plus 1 is 5, C2H5, COOH. And then as you write the name, right? So n equals to 0 is methanoic, n equals to 1 is ethanoic. So n equals to 2 is propanoic. So propanoic acid. If you are unclear, always have something like that prepared for you, especially for acid, because the acid one is the very tricky one where n starts at 0. So have this written somewhere on your paper, your assessment paper, the moment you get it. Then you can always refer so you don't make mistakes. Okay, so now we're going to draw the full structural formula of C2H5OH. So same thing, draw my carbon first. Okay, followed by my hydrogen. So I will draw 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 because each carbon will have 4 bonds. Then remember you have another C over here. This is your functional group. So C, double bond O, O, and dash H. Okay, so add this in. And then you check 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 hydrogen, 1, 2, 2 carbon, 1 carbon over here, and the functional group. Okay, so if you do the same for the next one, okay, write the name and molecular formula for the first and second member of the carboxylic acid. So we'll be talking about this one here. First member is n equals to 0, second member is n equals to 1. Okay, so the name is simply methanoic acid, where you have your HCOOH, and ethanoic acid, where is CH3COOH. By now, you should be able to memorize ethanoic acid formula as well. Okay, then to draw, so CH3, and then we have our C, our functional group, double bond O, O dash H, right? And then we have a H, H, H. Okay, so this would be your answer.